Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video, I'll be doing a one-off on the Josh Dunkley scenario and how we should play this as he does. We don't know whether this will be a sort of one-weeker like we saw with some other guys, or whether we see a multiple. It's listed as 1 to 2, I believe here. 1 to 2 weeks for a calf injury. But whether that could linger on like how we've been spooked with Clary, and how George Hewitt last year, I think, had a 1 to 2 weeker with a back or with a quad or something like that, and that turned into 3, 4, 5, or 6 weeks out, and it just got to the point where you almost needed to or forced to trade him. So I'm just going to go through in this one-off video how, especially with him being he was 70% owned or something like that going into the round, how we can, I guess, look at it and try and to best suit, find a trade or to hold him depending on what happens. So before we get into the video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the video. So with Josh Dunkley, as you can see on this screen, he is the third best forward, average wise, I believe, average wise and total points wise, and the second most expensive as just the way money fluctuates with break evens, etc., and scoring. But with Josh Dunkley, I think the plan here almost rests on Sheldrick and how he does against Richmond. If he goes, I think my barrier will be 90. If he goes above 90, I'm not going to trade Dunkley because I'm happy with a 90 score instead of Dunkley. And yes, it might mean that I don't get that big week per se, but I think it's better to hold Dunkley as his scoring potential is a lot better, and trying to get him back into the side is a lot harder than you think. And also I can trade him week 2 as his price won't fluctuate, and I'll also have enough, I think, cash-wise with Johnson to go down to like a Cogs here, who is, if I load this by price, or even jump down to a Zach Butters, who should be 9, 10 or so K, and jump down to him, as that'll be 70K gained, and it won't necessarily enable me to get to a guy that I necessarily want. But also I can jump down from Dunkley to Stephen Cornelio here and gain 130K plus Johnson. I should be able to get close to that, around also that, what do I want to say here? Around that 700 mark. So I could get Mills or something. Could be someone that I look at if I can get down to them. But if Dunkley is a 1 weeker, I would be trying at all costs to save him, because saving a trade is what a trade's probably, I sort of value around that 100K or so mark. So do I think Dunkley for 1 week is worth 100K? I don't think so. So I think saving him and just being able to play him on field as even just when do they play? Are they one of, no, they cannot be, for me at least, used as a captaincy loophole, as I just fixed these. I know that Neil is going to be my VC. That sort of might give away a little bit about what I'm thinking in terms of my trades for tomorrow's video. But Dunkley can't really, I don't think, for many be used as a loophole, as they will be using Neil VC, I think. But if you were to be doing a Goulden VC, I think you could use Dunkley as a loophole. And if you were to potentially be needing another, I guess, forward, you could put Dunkley onto your bench, etc. And put, I think for me, with the way my trades are going, I might be able to get Ramsden, as Ramsden is, he is at, what's that, 435, so I think I could quickly change that if Neil was going nuts, and I could use him as a VC, as a captaincy to get the Neil score. If I go to compare players, if I just go to here actually, then I go to forwards, and then what are the possible, as I've been sort of alluding to, what are the possible trades for him if you want to get him out this week? So there's sort of 2 ways you can go about this. You can go a slight downgrade to the likes of, if we go here by price, Butters. I think he is, what's his percentage owned? He is 22% owned, so you could go to him. You could also go to McRae, 109. I think he is a feasible option at an average of 110 basically for the last 5 and 107. I think that's very feasible, especially against Collingwood, who score pretty well. Players score pretty well against that. I'm pretty sure they're +6 on average, so he should go 105 or so. I don't like McRae as a defender forward. Cogs as well could be one that you could attack. And I could honestly go Cogs and Mills, but I'll have to look into that. But I don't think I will. I could go Cogs and Henry. That could be another option as well, as I'll go down to Henry in a little bit. Nick Martin, I think his role will diminish now, as I think we saw last week with a 64. Toby Green's just a forward. I wouldn't go for him. Bolton as well, sort of similar. I think Keys is another option you could definitely warrant, as I think his role is actually really good, even though it doesn't look like it on the surface. If you look deeper than the CBAs, I think you see that his role in the actual around the ground contest is really, really fantasy friendly. So I do like that option. Zeeble, what did he end up with? Zeeble, he ended up with an 86. I don't like him, to be honest, and I do not like the volatility with Sheasel, even though he has shown that he can do really well in the midfield. There's just something about this that I don't like. He is playing Geelong, so I don't think that'll be a fantasy friendly, but then he has got this run here where I think he can score really well, so I would hold off with him, and I think he's one that you could target probably after, if Dunkley does turn into a multi-weeker. I think you could target him, as well as getting the likes of a Mills or somewhere in that forward line, potentially, as you're gaining 200 odd K, so I might be able to get a Sheasel and also a like Cogs or something like that. And then you move down here. I don't like any of these guys, to be honest, and no one else here really. And then I'll look at last 3, as I think there's some guys that pop up here, and it was more in general talking about this Liam Henry and how he's popped up in the last 3 rounds, especially the last 2 rounds, and gone pretty nuts and sort of settled into this backline role at the Dockers. And he might actually get dual position status, not going to lie. He might not just get it because of these run of 4 games here, but I wouldn't be surprised another game at halfback. It might actually, I don't know necessarily his role. He might be on the wing, which could go terribly south, so you might want to stick away from him. But I think he could be one to look at if you do need to do it. But those are basically all the options now. So if I go back to the main screen, that's the video there basically. And yeah, so that's the video there. And of what to do with Josh Dunkley is basically to save him if you can, depending on Sheldrick. I mean, it will, depending on Sheldrick, will lock you out of Mills, which is a viable, I think, option. I think he is getting back, but I do think we need another week of him going and jumping up towards that 110 sort of range. I think we do need a good week from him to say this is the week to jump on him, as he does have a 105 or something break even, so he's not going to jump up terribly out of people's price range. But I do think we need another week of him going big before we jump on him. And then also I do think if Sheldrick does go big, you hold him, but I do think this will be a 1 weeker. I don't think it will be multiple weeks, as I think they got onto it slightly earlier than and they put him to rest quite early in the piece. So yeah, that's basically my thoughts, and I'll see you guys in another video. Thanks guys, goodbye.